And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba, and welcome. Welcome to another round of the Conscious Rasta Report here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, and livinginblacks.com. My name is Kedia Wadu, aka the Conscious Rasta. Weekday mornings, you and I get together live from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern Time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m. East African Time. We get together with you, and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives. We deal with entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family, conflict, future studies, all areas of human interactivity and development. Today's date is Tuesday, the 14th of October. 2025 in the Gregorian calendar. That's the year 6265 in the Kemetic calendar. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, livinginblack.com. We are right into the program. Here's what we have for you today. I hope you find it to be really compelling, quite interesting. Of all of the shows that I have done over the years, many years, on the subject of longevity, human longevity, stretching your healthy lifespan as far as you can. I want to emphasize healthy lifespan. Today we are talking once again on the subject, and I think we have hit something very important. Here's what I have to share with you today. What is known about interleukin 11 protein and aging? What is known about interleukin 11 protein and aging? Today, the Conscious Rasta Report takes a close look at a pro-inflammatory protein called interleukin 11, IL-11. This chemical is a strong indicator of metabolic order or disorder. Muscle and strength is strongly linked to aging and pathologies of old age. Research is showing that blocking or inhibiting the impact of this, again, inflammatory cytokine can slow down the effects of aging and potentially extend our healthy lifespan by as much as 25%. That's a lot. Extend our healthy lifespan by as much as 25%. How can we utilize this new information to improve our healthy life expectancy? This is our topic of discussion. And is interleukin 11 the key to slowing down aging by 25%? That's the subject for today. And we have got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about what we know, what is known about interleukin 11, and what you and I will know by the end of today's broadcast. If we pay close attention, take some notes, do your research. We will learn about interleukin 11 and its relationship to 1, metabolic disorder, to 2, muscle weakening, to 3, strength, 4, to the symptoms of aging, and 5, to extending our life expectancy. So that is all good. First of all, I'm going to take you to a YouTube video. It's not that short. We're only going to play about 4 minutes or so of this video. And this video talks about how scientists in Singapore began researching this about 8 years ago, interleukin 11 and its effect. Now, there are a number of interleukin proteins, and interleukin 6 has been, I first heard about interleukin 6 back in probably the early to mid 90s, when they were talking about interleukin 6 and its relationship to the immune system and to HIV/AIDS. And now we discover there's a lot of these different interleukin proteins, interleukin 2, interleukin 11. These have all come across our table. Today we're looking at this interleukin 11. I'm going to play a video entitled "Scientists Discover Protein That Causes Aging." So let's take a look at this video. You tell me what you think about what they have to share.
Singapore scientists are hoping to start clinical trials that could find the answer to slowing the muscle and strength loss as we age. Now, the team from Duke and US has discovered a protein called Interleukin 11 or IL-11 that causes aging. Blocking this protein could potentially increase healthy lifespans. Now, for more on this, I'm now joined by Assistant Professor Anissa Wijaya from the Cardiovascular and Metabolic Disorders Program at Duke NUS Medical School. Professor, welcome to the studio.
Thank
the
you.
big question
Accent is a little thick,
IL-11
but I think you'll be able to get through it.
to immortality?
Well, I don't really get the idea of immortality. Personally, I don't believe in immortality.
Okay.
I think we are all human. We are all mortal, and we are all aging. And aging is driven by a small set of switches that gets more and more active as we get older. And IL-11 is one of these switches.
So this protein, IL-11, it's not new to science apparently, but how did you and your team discover its role as the key driver of aging?
It's really pure luck, pure serendipity. Back in 2017, we received these samples from our collaborator. It's meant for another study. And at that time, I was already working with interleukin 11 and its role in the heart. So I thought to myself, why not just see whether I could see this IL-11 in these samples, because it happened that these samples come from different age group. And lo and behold, we found that IL-11s are elevated with increasing age.
Yeah. How do you feel upon that discovery in 2017?
It was, we were very confused actually in the beginning, because we went back to literature and we couldn't see any possible role of IL-11 in aging. And then we looked again, we read a lot, and we saw that, okay, what happened in aging? What happened in aging is you have more tissue scarring, you have more inflammation, and you have a decline in your body ability to heal, to repair and regenerate after injury.
Yeah.
And then we look at IL-11, what IL-11 does. IL-11 causes tissue scarring, IL-11 causes inflammation, and IL-11 causes a decline in our body ability to repair and regenerate. So all these matches, plus the fact that we see that IL-11 are elevated with aging, we thought, okay, this is so interesting, and perhaps IL-11 could be a key driver in aging process.
And your team also found that our organs produce increasing levels of IL-11, and that reduces muscle mass and strength, as well as increase fat accumulations in the liver and abdomen. How are these symptoms related to aging?
Yeah, so with aging, all our cells in the body, they accumulate damage factors, damage protein, damage DNA, damage mitochondria. And with this damage factor, accumulation of these damage factors, this makes your fat tissue have less ability to burn calories. This makes your muscle less strong, and then this makes your fat tissue also has less ability to remove the fat efficiently.
So, Professor, explain to us more about the anti-IL-11 therapy, how it works in countering aging. We all want to know this.
Okay, so anti-IL-11 therapies are an antibody drug. We administer it in our mouse model via injection, and it acts by binding specifically to IL-11 and blocking it from its action. And in aging, this turn off the switches that I mentioned just now. And because aging is only controlled by a small set of switches, if you turn off one or two of these off, this will cause all our cells to regain their youthful function, so they can function better.
So anybody can take this therapy?
They are not in the market yet.
Okay.
They are in clinical trials, but not for aging. They are for fibrotic lung disease, for cancer immunotherapy, and for eye disease.
Okay.
All right, that's enough of the video there. And it was going off into another tangent. Again, they are talking about a drug and injections and all of these things. I am not into that. I am into a natural lifestyle. Now, in the pursuit of their drug and what we know about interleukin 11 so far, we can extrapolate a lot of things. The thing about it is, This is real. This is the real deal. I do see, let me greet all of you in the house today. First of all, I do see Brother Shabaka is checking in bright and early. I say greetings to you, Brother Shabaka. Brother Shabaka in the house, he says, greetings, Baba Kitty, or Baba and the LIB family. It's great to have you in the house today, Brother Shabaka. And I hope that you do take notes, because we are going to be very, very practical today with what we know about interleukin 11 and how we can take advantage of this research, this molecule, to extend our healthy lifespan. I'm going to go right into the research. Singapore scientists are hoping to start clinical trials that could find the answer to slowing the muscle and strength loss as we age. This team from Duke in US has discovered a protein called interleukin 11 that causes aging. Blocking this protein could potentially increase healthy lifespan. CNA's Sayahida Othman speaks to Assistant Professor Anissa Wijaja from the Cardiovascular and Metabolic Disorders Program at Duke in US Medical School on the discovery and what it means for Singapore's aging population. So that was the video that we just watched briefly. Interleukin 11, IL-11, is a pro-inflammatory cytokine of the IL-6 family that has been linked to aging and age-associated pathologies. As mice age, IL-11 is unregulated across cell types and tissues, regulating an ERK, AMPK, mTOR C1 axis to modulate cellular, tissue, and organismal aging pathologies. Now, we're going to go into all of that in more detail. ERK, AMK, mTOR C1. We're going to go through those in more detail here very shortly. But we're building up to it. Point 1, deletion of IL-11 or IL-11RA protects against metabolic decline, multi-morbidity, and frailty in old age. So again, the strategy here is deleting, getting rid of, to the best of our abilities, or reducing the impact of interleukin 1 or interleukin 11 inside the body. That is the path, the strategy. Point 2, administration of anti-interleukin 11 to 75-week-old mice for 25 weeks improves metabolism and muscle function and reduces aging biomarkers and frailty across sexes. So that is anti-interleukin 11 that they administered. Point 3, treatment with anti-IL-11 from 75 weeks until death extends the median lifespan of male mice by 22.5% and of female mice by 25%. These results demonstrate a role for pro-inflammatory IL-11 in mammalian health span and life expectancy. So now I hope we have set up the basis by which we now start to understand what is happening. And real quickly, just want to clean this up so when I come back to it, it'll be easy to read. And let's continue. Here's the thing. Are you ready for this? Yeah, I'm ready for this. Lifestyle modifications can influence the body's inflammatory responses. Let me repeat that. Lifestyle modifications can influence the body's inflammatory responses, including the regulation of IL-11, by promoting healthier physiological conditions that reduce chronic inflammation and support overall metabolic and immune function. Now, once you understand this, Once you start to put these programs into place, you got it. You got it. And I want to say I am beneficiary of these lifestyle modifications, but after today's program, I'm going to be changing them again a little bit, tweaking them, getting closer and closer. Here's how lifestyle modifications may help. Point 1, exercise. Regular physical activity can reduce systemic inflammation, potentially lowering the production or activity of pro-inflammatory cytokines like IL-11. Point 2, diet. A diet rich in anti-inflammatory foods. Example given: fruits, vegetables, omega-3 fatty acids, etc. may help reduce or modulate the immune system and reduce the overproduction of IL-11. Point 3, stress management. Chronic stress can increase inflammation. Techniques like meditation, yoga, or mindfulness may help lower inflammation and directly reduce IL-11 levels. And sleep. Adequate sleep supports immune regulation and helps manage inflammatory responses, which will reduce IL-11 signaling. While lifestyle changes may not directly target IL-11, they can support the body's ability to manage inflammation and aging-related processes. For more targeted approach, further research or medical guidance may be necessary. Well, we're going to do that research today. So next, we are going to go to, I said 10 key strategies, but I just expanded the list from 10 to 21. So here are, let me back this up. Here are 21 key strategies. And I don't know if anybody has ever put 21 key strategies for managing IL-11 together. These are all natural lifestyle. These are all natural lifestyle. I'm not going to give you any injections. I'm not going to promote any drugs. No. We don't do that around here. That's not our way of moving. That's not our way of working. So here we go. You ready to go? You ready for this? Yeah. Basu Nefert Ra Seshat. I see you in the house. Uja, she says to her family. And Uja to you, beloved. It's great to have you in the house with us today. So here are 21 key strategies. Number 1, omega-3 fatty foods. Omega-3 fatty foods are found, or fatty acids, I should say. Omega-3 fatty acids, or essential fatty acids, are found in fatty fish, flax seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts, pecans, macadamia nuts, omega-3 oils. Point 2, they reduce interleukin 11 by modulating immune cell activity and suppressing pro-inflammatory cytokines. Point 3, they improve cardiovascular health, reduce fibrosis, and support brain function. And next point, EPA and DHA are particularly effective in lowering chronic inflammation linked to aging. I'm going to repeat, EPA and DHA are particularly effective in lowering chronic inflammation linked to aging. Number 2 of our 21 key strategies, curcumin, the active compound in turmeric. Curcumin inhibits IL-11 signaling pathways, the way it communicates, particularly those involved in fibrosis and cancer progression. Very important point. 1 second, I'm going to wet my whistle. Oh, that is so good. Here we go. Number 3, lutein, or lutein, I might call it. Lutein. And I do take lutein supplements. Lutein is a carotenoid found in leafy greens and egg yolks. Lutein has antioxidant properties that will reduce IL-11 levels and protect against age-related inflammation. Now, you know me, I am strictly plant-based. And so for me, egg yolks are out. Egg yolks are all kind of problems with egg yolks. I don't need to keep going through that. But if you have read my book, Transforming Soul Food, you will understand what I have to say about eggs. Eggs are, to me, eggs are gross. Number 4, NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide. NMN is a precursor to NAD+, another great supplement we love, which supports cellular repair. Mononucleotide may indirectly reduce interleukin 11 by activating anti-aging pathways like SIRT1, SIRT1. Now, number 5, SIRT1 activation. SIRT1 is a longevity gene that suppresses interleukin 11 in related pathways. It can be activated through fasting, exercise, and compounds like resveratrol, another supplement on my list. SIRT1 improves DNA repair, reduces inflammation, and enhances mitochondrial efficiency, the energy production efficiency, making it a key target in anti-aging strategies. Key 6, interleukin 11 antibodies. Experimental monoclonal antibodies directly block interleukin 11 signaling, shown to reduce fibrosis and improve health span in animal models. Now, I will say this much. I'm merely reading the research, and the research is there. But the idea of experimental, I'm not down with. Monoclonal antibodies, that's dealing with injections. They resemble vaccines, but they are not vaccines because they are DNA altering shots. So I am not going to be doing any IL-11 injections to create antibodies. I'm not into that. But this is what the research has out there. Number 7, caloric restriction. I do this every day. Reduces systemic inflammation and cytokine production. Point 2, it downregulates IL-11 through metabolic and hormonal shifts. Caloric restriction. Number 8, AMPK activation. AMPK is a cellular energy sensor that inhibits interleukin 11 signaling. It is activated by exercise, caloric restriction, and compounds like berberine and metformin. AMPK promotes autophagy, reduces fat accumulation, and improves insulin sensitivity. Key factors in slowing aging, AMPK activation. Point number 9, JAK STAT3 pathway inhibition. JAK STAT3 pathway inhibition. Interleukin 11 signals through the JAK STAT3 pathway. That's its means of communication. So drugs or natural compounds that inhibit this pathway can reduce IL-11 activity. Point number 10, mTOR inhibition. mTOR, M-T-O-R, and I had a definition for mTOR a little bit. I think I do define it, but let me real quickly. What is mTOR? What is, quote, M dash capital T-O-R in the body? What is mTOR in the body? Mammalian target of rapamycin. I do recognize that because I'm going to define rapamycin in a little bit. mTOR stands for mammalian target of rapamycin. mTOR, or the mammalian target of rapamycin, is a protein that plays a crucial role in regulating cell growth, protein synthesis, and other essential cellular processes. It acts as a central hub for coordinating responses to nutrient availability and energy levels within the cell. mTOR is activated by various signals, including nutrients, growth factors, and energy status. And it initiates a cascade of events that lead to increased muscle protein synthesis. This activation is essential for mechanically induced changes in skeletal muscle mass, as resistance training induces mechanical stress on muscles, which naturally activates the mTOR pathway. Supplementation with phosphatidic acid, which binds to specific sites on mTOR, amplifies its effect, leading to greater muscle protein synthesis and growth. Phosphatidic acid. I'm not familiar with the source of phosphatidic acid, but well, we know that mTOR, this pathway, is definitely something that we want to manage. mTOR, again, reading from my notes, mTOR inhibition. mTOR drives aging and inflammation. Inhibitors like rapamycin or lifestyle interventions, fasting, low protein diets, may reduce interleukin 11 expression. So the two things seem like, again, mTOR is a cell regulating. So we don't necessarily want to activate mTOR. We do not want to. It is a cytokine. So going forward, number 11 on my list, regular aerobic exercise. That's breathing exercises. Aerobic activities like walking, swimming, or cycling activate AMPK and reduce systemic inflammation, which may suppress IL-11. Exercise improves mitochondrial function, reduces oxidative stress, and enhances immune regulation. Over time, this lowers the inflammatory burden associated with aging and chronic disease. Moderate, consistent movement is more effective than sporadic, intense workouts. Moderate, consistent movement, very important. Number 12, intermittent fasting is one of our favorites. Fasting activates autophagy and down regulates mTOR and JAK STAT3 pathways. Again, fasting activates autophagy and down regulates mTOR and JAK STAT3 pathways, or JAK STAT3 pathways, both linked to IL signaling. It reduces cell senescence and promotes metabolic flexibility. Time-restricted eating, example given, 16 hours off, 8 hours on, or in my case is 18 hours off and 6 hours on, can lower inflammatory markers and improve insulin sensitivity, indirectly reducing IL-11 activity and slowing age-related decline. Intermittent fasting. Number 13 on our list, plant-rich diet. Diets high in vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains provide antioxidants and polyphenols that reduce inflammation. Specific compounds like lutein and curcumin have been shown to inhibit IL-11 expression. A plant-forward diet also supports gut health, which modulates immune responses and cytokine production. 14 on our list of 21, adequate sleep. Poor sleep increases inflammatory cytokines, including IL-11. Deep restorative sleep regulates immune function, reduces oxidative stress, and supports tissue repair. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night helps maintain hormonal balance and suppresses age-related inflammatory pathways. Number 15, stress reduction techniques. Chronic stress elevates cortisol and inflammatory cytokines. Practices like meditation, yoga, breath work, and nature expose IL-11 by calming the nervous system and lowering systemic inflammation. Point 3, stress management also improves sleep, digestion, and emotional resilience, all factors in healthy aging. Number 16, a very important one, low glycemic load. A low glycemic load diet. Point 1, a high blood sugar spikes increase inflammation and IL-11 expression. Point 2, a low glycemic diet stabilizes glucose levels, reduces insulin resistance, and lowers oxidative stress. Point 3, this includes whole foods like leafy greens, berries, legumes, and healthy fats while avoiding refined carbohydrates and sugars. Refined carbohydrates, wheat products, pastry, cakes, cookies, and pies, yeah. All of that stuff is very detrimental. You can eat those things, but you need to make sure that they are low glycemic and a minimum amount of processed wheat goes into it. Point number 17, gut microbiome support. Point 1, a diverse, balanced gut microbiome regulates immune responses and suppresses IL-11. Point 2, fermented foods, prebiotics, and fiber-rich diets promote beneficial bacteria that reduce gut permeability and systemic inflammation. And last point, a healthy gut also improves nutrient absorption and mood regulation. Number 18, avoiding environmental toxins. Exposure to pollutants, heavy metals, and endocrine disruptors can elevate IL-11 and accelerate aging. Point 2, reducing contact with plastics, pesticides, and industrial chemicals through clean water, air filters, and organic foods lowers inflammatory load and supports detoxification pathways. We're up to number 19 of 21, healthy body composition. Excess visceral fat, big belly syndrome, produces inflammatory cytokines, including interleukin 11. Maintaining a healthy weight through diet and exercise reduces metabolic stress and improves immune regulation. Point 3, muscle mass also supports glucose metabolism and hormone balance, further suppressing age-related inflammation. So you want to get rid of that flab. What do they call it? What's it called? Specific term. I can't think of what it's called. But it's not muscle mass. It's the opposite of muscle mass that we get when this flab hanging under our arms as we mature. As we mature. Well, we don't want that. We don't need that. That is very, very bad for our body. So get rid of the fat, get rid of the flab. It's called, what's it called? Skinny fat. That's the word I'm looking for. Skinny fat. We want to get rid of skinny fat and move forward to muscle mass. Number 20, cold exposure, thermogenesis. Point 1, brief cold exposure activates brown fat. Brown fat is actually the good fat and improves metabolic efficiency. Point 2, it may reduce interleukin 11 by stimulating anti-inflammatory pathways and enhancing mitochondrial function. And point 3, cold showers, cryotherapy, or winter walks can be safe ways to harness this hormonal stressor. Cold showers, positive thermogenesis is what it's called. And we got up to number 15 on this list. Avoid chronic, not 15, number 21, avoid chronic infections. Point 1, persistent infections. Example given, cytomegalovirus or H. pylori can chronically elevate interleukin 11. Point 2, address these through medical treatment, or in the case of if you're not into medicine, there's different medical ways of getting rid of cytomegalovirus and H. pylori we covered that just a few days ago, talking about natural antibiotics. Addressing these through medical treatment, immune support, and hygiene practices reduces inflammatory burden. That's a very important point. And point number 3, a strong immune system also prevents reactivation of latent viruses that contribute to aging. So latent viruses such as activating, what's the one we get when we're children that reactivates? I can't remember because I never had it. Chicken pox. No, I did have chicken pox. I remember catching it with my daughters. You could barely tell I had it, but no, I knew I had chicken pox. But we all had it together. So when that's reactivated, these latent viruses do contribute to this stress that is driven by interleukin 11. These interventions, ranging from lifestyle changes to emerging therapies, they range from lifestyle changes to emerging therapies. Interleukin 11 is increasingly recognized as a key target in aging and chronic disease, and modulating it may offer profound health benefits. So I've got a couple of articles up here. I'm not going to read these, or am I? Let me tell you. I'm going to find out in a second. This first article, I may have these up in other places, but I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to push these up into our chat for today. This first article is entitled Foods Rich in Lutein Inhibit IL-11 and May Extend Lifespan. Now that's a very important article. I think we will share some of that. I have another one here. Inhibit IL-11 and live longer? ? I'm going to just push this one up here on the YouTube. Push it up here on the Rumble. I have a lot of places where we're broadcasting today. Brother Shabaka is on the Rumble. I hope we're not alone, Brother Shabaka, just you and me. There's a couple of other people watching and are responding. But bear with me, everybody. I'm going to push these research articles. I'm going to push these up. For those of you who follow along and research along, you have to have access to this information. And therefore, it's my duty to share it with you. Now, I hope you also find it to be your duty to support your brother. What I do is not easy, but what I do for us is so very important. If everybody would do something for all of us and give it away, what a wonderful world we would create for ourselves and our posterity. It would be a wonderful, wonderful thing. We can't give everything away, but we can give so that others can thrive as well. And if everybody gave everything away, then everything would be free, and now we would have solved the problem of dealing with money. But we're far from there right now. But do give the like button. That's a simple solution that you and I can do that lets everybody else benefit from what we do. Now, there's one more link I want to share. Bear with me. This link is much earlier in this, and I have to share this on my Facebook page, as well as I'm going to share this link to the video that I showed you earlier. That was a very important video, so I'm going to share that on my Facebook page. And
So how far would lifestyle changes, though, like healthy?
Let me take that off. Reload this page and put this link up into the video. Okay. Myself, because I like what I do. You know, I love what I do. I really do. So going forward, there is a bit more research that I'm going to be sharing. We went through the 21 points. I just shared 2 links. Now, earlier they talked about rapamycin, also known as sirolimus, is an immunosuppressive drug originally derived from soil bacteria. It's almost like an antibiotic. It is an antibiotic, rapamycin. It is widely used in clinical settings and has been studied for its potential in extending lifespan and improving health span in animal models. Below are its benefits, rapamycin, and its side effects. I do admit rapamycin has some positive benefits, but for me, the side effects outweigh the positivity of taking a drug. So below are benefits and side effects. Benefits include immunosuppression, prevents organ rejection in transplant patients. That is a positive thing if you have been given a transplant, but the thing is if you've been given a transplant, you have not been listening to me talk for years. For 22, 23 years, I've been on the radio saying the lifestyle habits that avoid having to transplant your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your liver. No, please stop. Don't go there. Don't allow yourself to be susceptible. Point 2, anti-cancer properties. Rapamycin inhibits cell growth and proliferation by targeting the mTOR pathway. Point 3, anti-aging effects. In animal studies, it has been shown to extend lifespan and improve health markers. Point 4, cardiovascular benefits of rapamycin may reduce atherosclerosis and improve endothelial function. And point 5, neuroprotection. Some studies suggest it may protect against neurodegenerative diseases. So rapamycin, those are the benefits. Now, those are very strong benefits. Yet, it comes with side effects, and there's where you may not want to be participating. Side effects include immune suppression, increases the risk of infections and certain cancers. Point 2, mouth sores and skin rash. Commonly early side effects of being exposed to rapamycin. Point 3, diarrhea and nausea, gastrointestinal disturbances. Point 4, hyperlipidemia, can increase cholesterol and triglyceride levels, meaning those are both metabolic disorders. Point 4, renal toxicity, may affect kidney function. And when we talk about progressive nephropathy, that's a metabolic disorder. That's renal toxicity. Point 5, how many points is this? Point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.6, delayed wound healing due to its immunosuppressive effects. And it says rapamycin is typically used under strict medical supervision due to its potential effects on the immune system and metabolism. Always consult a healthcare provider before using rapamycin for any purpose. And I do definitely agree with that. So I have another video. I'm going to put this video into the link. And let's just take a look here. Let's just take a look at this video. This video, and put it up right here. 1 second. There it is. This is going to be on YouTube. And hopefully the commercial will play out without you having to hear it. Skip the commercial. 65 this year, but I have never. Real quickly, skip the commercial and skip and pause and unmute. And I think this has an audio track to it. I'm going to share this video right here, add to the stage. And here is the next video I've queued up. It's Live Longer, Look Younger, the groundbreaking science of interleukin 11 inhibition. 3 molecules to reduce it. So let's see how quickly they can get into this. If it goes on for a long time, I'm only going to play 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes of it. You tell me what it says that you would be interested in.
Studies came out just a couple months ago. Caused me to have to continue to rearrange these slide presentations because the data is so impressive. Now you look at those 2 mice. The one on the left is a normal aged mouse, which we don't want to be. It's got sarcopenia, osteoporosis, hair loss. It looks old. It's all shriveled up like an old person. The mouse to the right, it was given an interleukin 11 inhibiting therapy, and it did not age at the same rate. It lived 25% longer, and it continued looking younger. And you're going to see that throughout this presentation, that when we delay aging biologically, keep these animals alive longer, they also look younger on a longer basis. That's the situation. So interleukin 11, this is a toxic cytokine that we want to repress in our body. And this study published in Nature made some headlines. It's involved, this IL-11 is involved in inflammation and fibrosis, and interleukin 11 increases as we age. It literally kills us. And what this study found is that if you inhibit interleukin 11, you extend lifespan in male and female mice, and it's effective both in young and older animals. And why is that so important? Most of us in the room are no longer young anymore, meaning we need to identify drugs that we can put into our body to delay aging and extend our remaining lifespan. And what was most impressive about this study, when it terminated, 40 to 50% of the mice given the interleukin 11 inhibitor, they were still alive. 40 to 50%, only 10% of the control group. So this is a drug we want to put into our body. And this video shows the normal age people up, not as active, their health is not very good, and they die. It's really that simple. And then when you alter the gene in this case, and there's a couple of ways to reduce interleukin 11, but they altered the gene at birth, and they were able to enable these animals to live 25% longer in better health with a more youthful characteristic. So what does IL-11 inhibition accomplish? Well, a lot. It's why we take rapamycin, why we engage in calorie restriction, intermittent fasting. We want to inhibit excess mTOR C1. This kills us. This creates diseases in our body. We're doing a lot to inhibit it. Inhibiting IL-11 does that. It also increases AMPK activity. One of the reasons we take metformin and certain nutrients that boost AMPK activity, these are good factors. Reduce markers of senescence. Wow, the accumulation of senescent cells in our aged body, we want to get rid of those. Inhibiting this cytokine can make that happen. Liver fibrosis. This occurs in people with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, killing a lot of people. This one drug may save lives from people who are dying from fatty liver disease, many of which could be here tonight, but they're not because it overcome them. Upregulated brown adipose tissue, and when you do that, you induce fat mass loss, reduce fat, reduce lipids, and improved insulin sensitivity. Those 7 benefits by simply inhibiting the interleukin 11 cytokine. So there's a couple ways of doing it. One of the scientists used a gene therapy, and you're going to hear a lot about gene therapy this weekend. They knocked out the gene that produces IL-11 from birth. They extended median lifespan by about 25%. And that's important for a couple reasons. Some people might think, well, do we need this IL-11? Turns out there are redundant mechanisms to do what it's supposed to do in the body, and we can probably knock it out completely and not miss it. At the same time, extend our lifespan. And that other method, by the way, is an anti-IL-11 antibody that we take as a drug to suppress the IL-11 and therefore improve our median lifespan, in this case 23%. This is in older animals given an IL-11 inhibitor, in this case an IL-11 antibody, to knock it out, even with very, very old mice. Now, fibrosis is a term that most people are not totally familiar with, but it's actually involved in about 45% of the deaths that occur in industrialized countries. You've probably heard about pulmonary fibrosis, there's liver fibrosis, cardiac fibrosis. It's a connective tissue disorder in which our cells are damaged and we simply die sooner. Knocking out IL-11 is a way to stop fibrosis and maybe put it in reverse. The tremendous...
All right, I'm going to cut the video there at that point. There is another video. I'm going to put this other video up as well. For those of you who like to get the information from the videos, I'm going to put this one up as well. Put this in a new tab. This one is entitled 8 Mechanisms of Interleukin 11 and Fasting Toward Better Metabolism. So I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste that here, and we're going to share this video as well. Bear with me. This is very important information that we're doing right here, and I hope you do appreciate it. I understand, yeah, this is rather technical. Most of us have never heard of interleukin 11. So therefore, obviously, we have not studied it at all. But I have been introduced to it, and I spent the better part of an entire week, this past week, studying the benefits, the mechanisms of interleukin 11. So I'm going to put up this video. It's entitled 8 Mechanisms of Interleukin 11.
Hey everyone, welcome
here's
back.
The video.
In our last video, we dove deep into the discussion on the interleukin 11, IL-11, and its extension of lifespan as much as 20% at least, and promised to have further talk thereon. Today, we're turning our attention thereto briefly first and then to fasting towards enhancement of metabolism, because what we have shown you are far away from everybody's everyday routine life, in terms of extension of health span and lifespan. Let's dive in. Multiple pathways of interleukin 11. Interleukin 11, IL-11, is a cytokine implicated in various biological processes, including inflammation, tissue repair, and hematopoiesis. Recent research has highlighted its role in aging and longevity. The mechanism by which IL-11 inhibition extends health span appears to involve multiple pathways. 1. Senescence. IL-11 has been shown to induce cellular senescence, a state of irreversible cell cycle arrest. By inhibiting IL-11, the accumulation of senescent cells, which contribute to aging and age-related diseases, is reduced. 2. Inflammation. IL-11 is a pro-inflammatory cytokine. Its action can lead to a reduction in chronic inflammation, a key driver of aging. 3. Metabolism. IL-11 has been linked to metabolic dysfunction, including insulin resistance and obesity. By blocking IL-11, metabolic health can be improved, contributing to extended health span. 4. Tissue repair. Excessive IL-11 can impair tissue repair and regeneration. Its inhibition promotes optimal tissue healing and function. It's important to note that this is an emerging area of research, and the exact mechanisms underlying the health span extending effects of IL-11 inhibition are still being investigated. However, the data suggests that targeting IL-11 may be a promising therapeutic strategy for aging and age-related diseases. Fasting towards better metabolic flexibility. Metabolic cage analysis revealed that the respiratory exchange ratio, RR, was overall higher in old IL-11 knockout mice compared with old wild-type mice. After a period of starvation, refeeding resulted in a greater increase of RER in old IL-11 knockout mice, consistent with better metabolic flexibility. Whereas old IL-11 knockout mice were leaner and weighed less than wild-type controls, they consumed more food and had similar levels of locomotor activity. Calorie-losing enteropathy of IL-11 knockout mice was excluded by bomb calorimetry. In lean healthy individual mice, skeletal muscle displays substantial metabolic flexibility, with the capacity to switch from predominantly lipid oxidation and high rates of fatty acid uptake during fasting conditions to the suppression of lipid oxidation and increased glucose uptake, oxidation, and storage under insulin-stimulated conditions.
Again, that's enough of that for right now. Again, we're moving very fast, and I hope you have been able to follow along. I don't have much more time, but this is very important. This next article, I'm going to share this with you as well. This article, I'm going to share the screen, which will be right here. Foods rich in lutein, and we don't want this. Reject all. Foods rich in lutein inhibit interleukin 1 or interleukin 11, and let me add this to the stage, and this is very important. Foods rich in lutein. We did talk about lutein, we talked about curcumin, your turmeric, your curry. Those are very, very, very critical to the strategies that we would wish to put forward today. So I'm going to go in and we're going to read for the remaining minutes. We're going to read from this article. Foods rich in lutein inhibit IL-11 and may extend lifespan. And this is from New Life Longevity Journal. And the article copyright is written by Niels Osmar. Here's what it says. And I wrote this, I think I put this in a little bit earlier. In a 2024 study published in Nature, found that deactivating the protein IL-11 can extend the lifespan of mice by up to 25%. In the study, mice that were injected with an IL inhibitor, interleukin inhibitor, starting around 75 weeks of age, which already would have put them at old age, which would be considered late middle age in mice, and continued the injections until death, lived an average of 155 weeks compared to 120 weeks for untreated mice. And I think I do have this in my notes. And let me see if I can find it. I'm looking for 155. Find 155. And it's not there in my notes, so let me just continue reading from the article. The injected mice had fewer tumors and showed improvements in muscle strength, body mass, metabolic markers, and fur quality relative to the control animals. You saw that in the previous video. Lutein suppresses IL-11. Again, our strategy is not to express, but to suppress, inhibit, to reduce interleukin 11. Okay? So that's our strategy. Lutein attenuates angiotensin 2, a stress marker, including cardiac remodeling by inhibiting APIL-11 signaling. Found that lutein is effective in suppressing IL-11 in lab animals from the study. The following. The aim of the study was to determine whether lutein is involved in cardiac remodeling and to elucidate the underlying molecular mechanisms. In vitro experiments with isolated neonatal rat cardiomyocytes and cardiac fibroblasts revealed that lutein significantly attenuated angiotensin II induced collagen expression in CFs and cardiomyocyte hypertrophy. Point 3, the angiotensin II induced increases in superoxide generation. Let's get a little technical, sorry about that. Inflammation and anaptosis in cultured CFs, which were strikingly prevented by lutein. In vivo, in the body, fibrosis, hypertonic cardiomyocyte, and superoxide generation were analyzed, and lutein was demonstrated to confer resistance to angiotensin II-induced cardiac remodeling in mice. I'm going to skip to just the highlights, and we're going to get out of this article. Notably, we discovered that lutein could reduce angiotensin II-induced interleukin 11 expression, at least partly through the regulation of activator protein 1 expression and activity. And other benefits of lutein, very important. Lutein and a related compound, zeaxanthin, also known for improving blood flow to the brain and protecting against age-related macular degeneration. So what conclusions? Conclusions, supplementation with lutein and or zeaxanthin. Woof, I had a hard time with that. Conclusion, supplementation with lutein and or zeaxanthin increase MPOD and supplemental lutein enhances renal sensitivity in patients with early advanced metabolic disorder. So we can move forward. We know that. And it talks about food sources. Dark leafy greens are a good source, as well as it's in many foods as a supplement. And you can get it in egg yolks, one of the richest, most bioavailable sources. I don't eat egg yolks. I think they're gross. And this author wrote, I usually eat 3 to 5 eggs a day and include arugula, a low oxalate leafy green, in my diet. He also takes a lutein zeaxanthin supplement. He takes 3 capsules a day, each containing 40 milligrams of lutein. So that is that article, and that was not so bad. Let me just see. I have that article copied. I'm going to go ahead, cut that, and I'm going to begin to wrap it up for today's show. We've been having a good time here on LAB Radio. Nobody really engaged in conversation with me today, but that does not mean you were not there. That does not mean you were not paying attention. That does not mean you will not be beneficiary of the information we showed today. And you will be beneficiary of it. I trust you will. You're smart. You're self-aware. You're sensitive. And you do care about doing what's right for you. And that's why you do tune in to LIB Radio, LIB TV, and LivianBlack.com on a regular basis. I do encourage each and every one of you to become a supporter. You know, we're very, very close right now to be able to get a check from our Rumble streaming. But you know what we need to do to push it over the level and get that check as soon as possible, because it's needed. It is needed, no doubt. That check is needed. Is you need to go to at the bottom where you see the chat button, the chat box. Right underneath there's a little green $ token, and there's a little gift box. You can click on either one of those, the green token, and make a donation, or you can click on the gift box and make a contribution. We do encourage you to make a contribution, become a supporter. Today, use the gift icon just below, and let's keep building together. And I cannot overemphasize that point. I also have these books. Now, I tell you, I am getting so much of this information is backing up. I did put out a book last December, and the book was entitled Living Superfood Solutions. I think I may put out another book called Advanced Superfood Solutions. What do you think? If I put out a book called Advanced Superfood Solutions, would any of you buy it? Or would you all just say, hey, congratulations, Kitty, that's 61 books you published now. Great, great, great. And just go on about your business and ignore it, not even add the books to your library? You let me know. We're going to do the best we can. And if you can, I should say, support us through the book sales at http://keidi.biz/CRP2012. That's how you can support LIB Radio. We need your support. We appreciate your support. I most certainly do. We're going to use your support to keep building, keep growing, keep building, and keep expanding on your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are livinginblack.com. Tell your friends to tell their friends. We have our own now. And we have a lot to contribute. We've come a long way together. We've got so much further to go. On LIB Radio, LIB TV, and on livinginblack.com. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you.